Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Pets, people, pop culture. Let's bring on the host, Sam, the queen of rock and roll dogs.
Hello everyone, I'm Sam, the queen of rock and roll dogs and the host of Vegas Rock Dog Radio. On today's show, I'm talking about pet suffocation and why so many pet parents are unaware of this danger. So stay right there.
Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Pets, people, pop culture.
Hi everyone, welcome to the show. I'm your host Sam. I am the queen of rock and roll dogs. This is Vegas Rock Dog Radio. It's a rock and roll show all about pets, people and pop culture. And it's a brand new year. Yay! In studio with me today, well that was just me doing yay. In studio, believe it or not, is Jim DeRico. Hello.
I didn't know that I had to partake of the yays with you. I didn't want to wreck your excitement.
It's a brand new year. And even if it's just psychological, it's a good place to restart, isn't it, Jim?
What kind of you're having a psychological year already?
Even though it's a psychological thing, you go from literally one day to the next. There's a reset that happens in your mind. Well, it does in mind. What about you? In mine?
It's not for
me.
No,
I figured as much.
I just think after New Year's, it's the long grind until the weather gets better, even for us.
Come on. I've been outdoors today. I could have been wearing a bikini. No joke.
Well, okay, that's you.
Okay, that's me. Well, Jim's in studio, and we've also got Miss Thornton, Mr. Twix, and Galaxy looks out for us from the Rainbow Bridge. Got a great show, a very informative show lined up for you today. Very, very informative. And I think something's going to be a little bit of an eye-opener for you. Before we get started, welcome to the show if you're brand new listeners, brand new year. What else could you want? And for our regular listeners, we're always glad that you're here every single week. And let me tell you how else you can connect with us on the internet. And this is how you're going to do it. Our main website is vegasrockdogradio.com. You just go over to the site, click listen live, and there you go. And you'll also find archive shows as well. You can also find us on Periscope, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Tumblr, Instagram, all the great places. And we have a blog. And the blog is therockandrolldog.com. We have an app. And you will go to yap.us, yapp.us. It's free. Download the app and then download our show straight onto the app. And of course, if you missed a live show, you can go to iTunes, iHeart Radio, Spoke by Sirius XM, and any other platform that you listen to podcasts on. You'll find us. We're there. We're on them all, but they're the main ones. They're the main ones that most people listen to these days. And since we're talking about where to find the show, we're also on Amazon Alexa, and we're also on Sonos as well, which you and I should get. We should get an Alexa, Jim.
Why?
The amount of things that you can
explain
do.
to the people the prime reason why.
The amount of things that you can do is phenomenal. So my friend Stephanie, she was telling me she does all the to-do lists on there. She can tell her TV to turn on. She can turn her lights on. She can obviously play music anywhere just by requesting music. You can say, find me this article on blah, 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 blah. She just said she finds new things every single day. She can say, Alexa, I want to listen to some ocean, the ocean waves to help me go to sleep. Boom, there it is. You can do your alarms. I'm thinking we need one. The only downside is it records all of your conversations, everything that you say in your house.
I think that's a spying device. I'm going to have to protest.
Because
I don't want to be around a device that spies and goes into the cloud, and my life becomes a matter of record.
Well, to be honest,
not my private life anyhow.
From what I can gather,
no,
there's a murder case. And the conversation of this murder that happened.
They subpoenaed the data. No, I don't think we're getting one of those. There's not going to be any murder here, but we're not going to. No.
Oh, I'm happy about that.
I got to put a foot down. My house has to be like we have to be free of this somewhere.
But I need some assistance.
Yeah, you need help finding the doofa in the house and turning on your channel.
It's the only assistant I'm going to get.
You want it for TV assistance. I'm putting my foot down.
You're saying that you don't even know how to turn an Apple TV on.
I know how to turn Apple TV on. You don't know how to unblock the receptor with decorations around the Apple TV unit.
Look, it's bound to happen. It's Christmas especially. There's decorations around. Well, I might get one.
The foot is down.
I'm wanting one. What do you mean? You're not the boss of me. What are you on about?
The foot is down.
Can you imagine? I can say, because, I research so many things and I read so much stuff every single week about animals and medical treatments and breakthroughs in diets and nutrition. And, do you know how much? Oh, that would save me so much time. It would save me so much time. There's got to be a way around that, Because my friend Sam Smashington, you know what Sam Smashington told me? She said she went to check her Alexa for me. She says, God is my witness. She says, if Alexa didn't record a conversation me and Dennis had in bed.
There you go. There you go. And I feel bad for Dennis because of that.
I don't think he was plotting to murder her, Jim.
Doesn't matter. I'm anti-Alexa.
Well, you shouldn't be because my show is on Alexa. So
yeah, but Alexa isn't watching me in my house in my underwear either.
She'll cover her eyes up. I'm telling you now. If she sees that, she'll definitely cover her eyes up. Oh, gosh. Well, it's a brand new year, everyone. And lots of new guests, great guests, high-quality guests, as we like to say. And it's the year of the dog. I mean, really? I mean, it's all just coming together all nicely, isn't it, Jim? And this show this week is dedicated to a dog named Blue. And you're about to find out why. Now, Bonnie Harlan is my guest today. She is the founder of Prevent Pet Suffocation, which is dedicated to spreading public awareness on the suffocation dangers that pets face. And the organization has grown to an international following, which is great news, of over 13,000 supporters. And I hope that after this show, that those numbers increase further. So let's bring Bonnie on the line. Hello, Bonnie.
Hi, Sam.
Hey, how are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you for having me on.
I'm thrilled that you're here. It's 6 months since we spoke because that was Super Zoo. And when I tell people I'm bringing them on the show, I eventually get them on the show. And I'm really glad that you're here today because, what your organization does is saving lives, basically. You are saving lives through Prevent Pet Suffocation. But before we get started, I want to ask how your dog Jag is. How's Jag doing?
Jag is wonderful. He's a 5-year-old English Springer Spaniel, and I'm totally obsessed with him. So he's amazing and fun, and
you've
just fits right in.
You've got grand dogs as well, haven't you?
I know, I do. I have a golden doodle named Tucker too. So it's quite a menagerie over here sometimes.
Well, I love that, and I love the fact that you call them your grand dogs. Because, I've got to the point now where I don't even say pet sitter. I call them the babysitter. Are you looking for a good babysitter? I've got one for you. I just don't.
Exactly.
I don't think that way anymore because there are kids, aren't they? And there are grandkids as well. So, as I mentioned, we're dedicating the show to your dog Blue, and I want you to basically tell your story of how you led up to this organization that you've got so much international support from, and I feel like it's something that's people are very, very, very unaware of. Very unaware of. I mentioned it to someone this week, and the look on their face, they were just mortified. And so tell us about Blue. What kind of a dog was Blue?
Okay, so Blue was actually a rescue dog, and my oldest son, Chase, he brought him home from college when he graduated. And so, of course, I was initially not ready for another dog in my house because they stayed with us for a while. And before I knew it, I totally took Blue over. He just won me over. Somebody described him as like a man in a dog suit, and that's really how he was. He was just this fabulous, even-tempered, rescue dog, part Staffordshire Terrier. So anyway, Blue ended up staying with me full time, and we had our little routine. So what happened was on December 15th, 2011, so it was Christmas and a lot of things to be done, I went out to do some errands. I wasn't gone very long, and Blue was always fine in the house. When I came back home, you kind of come in from my garage into my kitchen, and I noticed that Blue wasn't there to greet me at the door, which was, very unusual. So I looked around and I saw kind of a paper bag of trash dumped over in the kitchen. And I thought, oh, well, he must be hiding because he got into something and he knows he shouldn't have. So then I walked around the house and I noticed some like Christmas decorations were knocked over, and it was just kind of odd. So I started going through my house, calling his name and looking for him, and I literally could not find him anywhere. I looked under the beds. I looked in every bedroom. I went upstairs. I called my son. Did you come get the dog? No, he didn't. So I went back upstairs, circled around, and I found him in the corner of my game room under a table. And from afar, I could see that he had a Cheetos chip bag over his head. And just in that instant, I knew, oh, wow, he suffocated in a chip bag. But before then, I had no idea that was even possible. So I ran to him. He was still warm. I pulled the bag off, called my vet immediately, crying, screaming. He told me how to do CPR. I started CPR on Blue, but, it just was too late. And it was really a horrifying discovery to find him like that. It was just devastating. My vet actually rushed right over, which is kind of unheard of in Houston.
Wow, that's amazing. He came over there.
Yeah, he came over. So by the time he got there, my husband had arrived home. Of course, I was crying. My husband was crying. And the vet said to me, I could have warned you about 100 things, but a chip bag would never have been one of them. He said, I've never heard of it,
I think that's, with the amount of people I've spoken to about it, that's exactly been their
response.
Yeah, they just can't believe it. I'm horrified listening to your story, and it's incredibly sad and incredibly tragic. And no one wants to lose their pet at all, and certainly not in that manner. And not knowing it's a thing, it's not something you could look out for, could you? It just doesn't cross your mind. Yeah, we hear about pets getting in trash all the time, but we never really, I think the dangers most people say, don't let them get in the trash and eat stuff because it's terrible, it'll upset their stomachs. But no one talks about suffocating, do they?
No, and because I'd never heard of it, I was just in shock, and I was so mad that this had happened, So I just kind of decided right then I was going to do something about it. I didn't know what. It took me a couple of weeks to figure out what I wanted to do.
So you channeled, I'm sure it was, like you say, anger and pain, and of not wanting other people to have to go through that. That spurred you in the right direction, didn't it?
Yes, it did. It was just kind of a catalyst to start this. And so that's how Prevent Pet Suffocation started. So in January was when I began the Facebook page, And then everything kind of evolved from there.
So you're close to like 6 years now then? 7 years?
Right. It was just 6 years in December.
Right. Wow. It's as I say, I mentioned it to a friend this week, and the look on her face was, "Are you kidding me? I've never thought of this." You know, and
right.
It's something that everybody has in their homes. This is danger in everybody's homes. If you eat snacks, you have a danger in your home. If you're not vigilant with that kind of stuff, and so it's gosh, I can't even imagine. But yeah, you've got is your community growing constantly?
It is. It's amazing how well it took off, and thanks to all the supporters, the awareness aspect of this campaign has gone international. The way people find me typically is when they come home and they find their dog suffocated to death.
Yeah.
So they'll typically Google it, and then they'll find me. And I probably hear from 3 to 4 people a week.
Oh.
That this has happened to. Everybody has the same refrain. I've never heard of this. I never knew this was a problem. If only I had known.
If only I'd known. Oh, and I can only imagine. I can only imagine how that haunts you, even though you didn't know. Just, oh my gosh! But if I'd only known, it's such a simple thing because you can prevent it. That's the whole point of this. Is
right.
I think that's the positive side of your organization. Even though I know that anytime one of your posts pop up and I do see them, and I see a picture of an animal, I go, I know what happened there. No one has to tell me what happened. But there's such a positive side to this, which is preventing suffocation and preventing these the accidental deaths is what they are. They truly are accidental deaths, aren't they?
They're accidental and they're senseless, and they don't have to happen.
They don't have to happen. Absolutely, they don't. So, what is the? I don't want to get graphic by no means, of course, but of course, snack bags are appealing. Any kind of food packaging is appealing because it's tasty and it smells good. So that's the attraction in the first place. And so, what actually happens once the pet gets their head inside these snack bags?
Well, so once the dog kind of gets his nose in a bag, the bag starts to create a vacuum-like seal around his neck. Well, as he tries to breathe, the bag starts to tighten around his neck, cutting off the oxygen. So, of course, the dog isn't logical, and
no,
he's not thinking. He's just reacting. So they typically will continue to try to eat, but they realize they can't breathe.
Oh.
So when you visualize a chip bag over a dog's head and he can't breathe, well, he also can't see.
That's right.
But they become very anxious, and so a lot of them will run around, which is what Blue did. That's why everything was knocked over in my house. He actually went from my kitchen upstairs all the way around the game room. So he struggled with this for a while. So they'll start to panic and typically run around. And then eventually they start, passing out from asphyxiation. And the other horrible thing is they typically lose their bowels as well, which is exactly what happened to Blue.
Oh, my gosh.
So it's really a horrific death.
It is, yeah.
Poor pets. And it happens in less than 5 minutes.
Oh, my gosh, is that quick?
You just turn your head and it can happen.
Oh.
You don't have to be gone. You can be home. We've had a lot of owners that have been home. They're in another room. They're in the shower. They're on the front porch.
Oh, I was reading, it was a while back, but I was reading about one lady who had been laid on the couch eating chips, fell asleep and woke up and her dog was had passed away next to her. And it's horrifying, and you just feel so bad for what your pets go through, if that does happen to them. So now we know what happens, and it can only happen in a matter of minutes, which makes it for me even more of a danger. It's not like that, there's no time frame, is there? It's just like that. This is very quick. What can we do though? What can we do to prevent these kind of situations occurring? And is it other packaging aside from snack bags that we should be focusing on?
Right. There I would say chip bags are the biggest culprit of pet suffocation. I think part of it is because they're so popular.
Yeah.
And they're, a lot of people will have 6 or 7 varieties just in their house, in their pantry.
Yeah.
But also any type of snack bag, you can have goldfish bags and popcorn bags and, all those kinds of things. Then there are the actual pet food bags.
Oh, wow.
And cereal bags and shredded cheese bags. And then you have the Ziploc bags.
Oh, my gosh.
But the main problem with with most of these is the material they're made of, which is that strong mylar-like material. And that a lot of food companies use that because it helps keep their snacks and their food fresher. But if you look around at a lot of the cereal bags now and all the pet food snack bags and things like that, they all have that shiny silver material. Well, that's that mylar material, and that is actually, I think, what is increased, over the years, the pet suffocation deaths.
Oh gosh, that's a lot. That's a lot to consider, isn't it?
Right. So it's basically you have to look at everything as a potential enemy of your pet, and think ahead. Like, is this an issue? Is this a potential issue? And the answer is most likely yes. And
is this something that I'm assuming this is probably something you have to be careful of with kids too? Toddlers, wouldn't you say?
Well, I would imagine that it could definitely happen to a toddler.
Yeah.
If they put any of that kind of bag over their head, sure.
And the bags are huge.
Right, some are huge. And that's why we lose so many different size dogs. Anywhere from a Chihuahua to a Great Dane this can happen to. It doesn't even matter how big they are.
Oh gosh, now I'm one of those, I'm actually paranoid about everything anyway with my pets. So, and I know some people think, oh, that's a little extreme, Sam. But you know what, for me, I don't care. I've never taken a chance with anything.
Right.
What do you suggest people do? You're going to eat snacks. What can they do to prevent that from happening?
Right. Of course, we all love the snacks, and there are just ways to, dog-proof your home to prevent pet suffocation. And so some of those steps would be keeping your chip bags, your snacks, your pet food safely stored away from your pet.
Yeah.
Okay. So locked up in a pantry, etc. Behind a counter. And actually, a good idea is to store all those items in resealable plastic containers.
Yeah.
That way you don't have the bags in your home.
Yeah. That to me, that's just, it's worth the effort. Containers not expensive to buy anymore. And you label them up and you know what you've got. And get rid of those bags. If you do continue to use bags, what else do you suggest that people do?
Well, the main thing is whether you put them in containers or go ahead and store them high up on a shelf in your pantry, the key is you have to tear or cut these bags up.
Yeah.
Okay. When you're done with them. And people debate, well, should you cut it this way or that way? I don't care how you cut it, as long as you cut it up.
Hack that thing up.
Okay.
Yes.
Right.
Hack it up into pieces and be done with it. Yeah.
Every type of bag. I mean, even if it's just a Ziploc bag you stored some bologna in, cut it up, because that smell is going to attract your pet.
It is. One of the things that I have at home, neither Galaxy or Thornton ever went in trash. They never tried to go in a trash can. And then we saved Mr. Twix, and he was wild, living in the desert, so he ate anything and anything and survived the best way he could. And he's very resourceful. He's a very smart dog, and he's got one heck of a nose on him, this dog. And he dragged over a trash can one day, and I was just like, what? We've never had this. And immediately I said, come on, Jim, we've got to go down Lowe's. Let's get a locking trash can. That's the first thing we need to do, because we cannot have this again with him. And we'd never experienced that with any dogs, but he's a boy. He's a boy dog for sure. And we ran off to Lowe's, and we found ourselves a locking trash can that works.
Right.
Even if he attempts to knock it over, There's no way you can get in that thing. But I think all trash cans should be locking anyway. It's just to take that extra level and still cut up bags and
right. That's absolutely. So cut your chip bags up, get your locking trash can, put it behind a cabinet, keep your kitchen pantry door closed all the time.
Yeah.
That's a bad habit people can get into.
Yeah, especially when they're cooking, because they're in and out, so they'll just leave the door open to the pantry. And that it happens quickly, they love something tasty and they're in there,
Right, and start serving your chips and your snacks in glass bowls or containers instead of just eating them out of the bags.
That's what we do. Because, I mean, there's human error in anything we can do. And so if you think, oh, just that one time I'll just have some chips, I'll fall asleep, next thing you know, it's just never worth it. You're a human being at the end of the day. You're not a robot, and we do make mistakes. So yeah, if you use a bowl, you've got no problems to worry about on that level, have you?
And also, the same goes for your car, because a lot of people will eat these, snacks in their car, and they'll leave their pet in the car, and they'll run into the store for a minute, and they'll come back, and their dog's gone.
Never thought about that. You see, now, I mean, mine's a mess. I don't have snack bags, but it is a mess. I will say that much.
Oh, that's an understatement, by the way.
But there's no snack bags in there. It is a mess. My vehicle is used for a lot of donations. Actually, straight after the show, I'm going to pick up donations for animal rescue. So that's why there's always a million things in the back of my vehicle, but no snack bags. But, oh, gosh, when you think about that. But like you said, there's some levels you can use. There's levels of security, which is, closing your pantry door, locking trash can, a trash can that's in a behind a door, nothing on the countertops, replace the bags with containers. There's just a lot you can do, isn't there, to just prevent that, because it's not worth not doing it. Because if it only takes 5 minutes for a pet to pass away from that, it's certainly worth, just proofing the house as much as you possibly can.
Right. And the other aspect of that, proofing your house is telling your friends and your family and your pet sitters and your babysitters, all the people that come in and out of your house about pet suffocation, because you can do it yourself. But if you have, teenage kids and they have their friends over and no one's paying attention, that happens too. We had a dog died because the kids were out on the trampoline and they left the chip bag on the trampoline.
Oh.
And they went back in the house not thinking anything of it, but the dog was out in the yard on the trampoline.
Oh.
So you have to educate
everyone around you that interacts with your pets. Everyone.
Right.
Goodness gracious.
In fact, the last dog I posted this week, this was certainly not, placing blame on anybody, but the owner left the house and she asked the pet sitter to please lock the dog up. And, for some reason she forgot or she didn't do it. And then the dog got into a chip bag.
Oh, gosh.
So maybe if the pet sitter had known too, and the owner had known, the chip bag would have been put up.
Yeah.
And
never would have happened.
Would have lost that puppy.
Was that the corgi?
Yes.
Oh,
I think so.
Gosh. Oh, it makes me so sad. And, especially around the season that we've just had, lots of celebrating, lots of eating, lots of parties, lots of snacking. And do you find that it increases at this time of year?
Well, yeah, and it does. So anytime you have big holiday gatherings or big family reunions or parties and people aren't paying attention to what's going on, the dogs are roaming everywhere and the snack foods are abundant.
Yes, they are.
So we like to kind of push that around the holidays, and also the biggest day of all, Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah, I was just thinking that that is it's like chip and snack heaven, isn't it? For a lot of people.
Right. So it's real important to be, extra vigilant during those times, and just pay attention. But education is the key.
Oh my gosh, it is.
Spreading awareness is our, best defense against pet suffocation.
I think this is such a worthy organization that you've put together. It saves lives, and there's nothing better than saving lives. and preventing heartache and, losing a family member, because that's what they are. You know what? Let's take a quick break, Bonnie, because I've got a lot more questions for you about, what else can we do to be prepared, and, what's coming next, and, all this good stuff that you've got ahead of you, because I just see you being the leading organization for this. I honestly do, because when I believe in something and I go, this is something everybody needs to know, then I tell everybody, and we want to be able to get more and more support for you so that we can prevent
that's awesome.
pets passing away. So hang on there for a minute, and on the other side we'll come back with those questions. You're listening to Vegas Rock Dog Radio with me, Sam, your host, the queen of rock and roll dogs. We'll be right back.
Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Pets, people, pop culture.
Pet Scene Magazine is dedicated to Las Vegas pets and the people who love them. It's a source of news and information for pet lovers, as well as offering valuable coupons and specials on pet products and services. Find them online at www.lvpetscene.com or look for them on Facebook.
At Carl's Jr., not only do we make you happy with our delicious charbroil burgers, we also make your dogs happy. Come through our drive-thru with your furry friends and we'll offer them a treat. We love to see their smiling faces. Our website, carlsjroflasvegas.com, has a treat in store for its customers too, with free coupons anytime, so visit us often. Carl's Jr. is a proud and active supporter of animal adoption in our community. You can find us at carlsjroflasvegas.com.
Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Pets, people, pop culture.
Hi everyone, we're back. You're listening to Vegas Rock Dog Radio with me, Sam, your host. I am the queen of rock and roll dogs, and this is our first show of the year with our guest Bonnie Harlan of Prevent Pet Suffocation. And just before the break, we were talking about how she started the organization, because her own dog Blue passed away from suffocating in a chip bag, and how her anger and her passion for other pets not to pass away spurred her on to actually start this organization. And it's gathering a lot of attention, and it does save lives. And we've talked about how, solutions to prevent these suffocations, great solutions, layers of security, as I like to call them. Apply them all. Just don't pick one. Just go full on, be full on paranoid like I am. It's worth it. It really is. And it gives you peace of mind as well. But now we want to talk about a little bit more about, so if you find yourself in a situation you are lucky enough to get home and get that bag off a pet's head, what can you do? What can people be prepared with, Bonnie?
Well, the main thing, if you see your dog in distress, would be take that bag off immediately and start CPR.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, I didn't know pet CPR, so I'm always recommending everybody learn it, because there's lots of little videos on YouTube and so forth. So it's pretty quick to know. So you want to get that bag off, check for a pulse, start CPR, and get your dog to the ER, as soon as possible.
It's a skill set everybody should have, shouldn't they? Really, CPR. Because you just never...
for people and pets.
Yeah, I mean, you just need to have that skill, because it's saving time. It saves time while you can get on the phone with your vet, or like get to the vet, or it's just a skill everybody should absolutely have. Fairly, I found here in town it's fairly cheap to get CPR certified for pets, and sometimes it's free. When I see those kind of classes, I always share them with the community, because it's a good skill to have. And it's when you're up against the clock, that can make the difference, can't it? So seconds count here. Yes. Sure. So that's CPR, everyone, and I'll put some links up where you can get your CPR done locally. But I'll also put up, and I'll take it straight off your website. But I know you have a CPR video on there. I'll make sure that link goes up as well, and become familiar with that. So that's one thing you can definitely be prepared with, isn't it? Is there anything else you can think of if you found yourself in that situation with your pet?
Well, obviously, it's just time is of the essence.
Yeah.
So even if your dog looks like, you caught him in time, I would still take him to the vet and checked out. A lot of dogs have definitely been revived, and sometimes they worry about, how much oxygen did the dog lose, and will there be an issue? But we've had definite success stories.
Oh, that's
and
good.
So, not all is lost, especially if you, catch them in time.
I think that's really good advice, because so many times, not in just your situation when you come across these suffocations, but in many medical emergency situations, a lot of people will say, well, my dog just ate blah, blah, blah. And it's poisonous. And they go, but they look okay. No, go straight to the vet. Do not waste any time. And I think that, you can't just go, well, I think they look all right. Get them there. And I think also being prepared with the emergency number, because
the pet poison hotline.
Yeah,
for sure.
A lot of people forget that, their normal veterinarian closes at normal business hours generally. And often they don't have a second location they can go to for an emergency. Do you know how many people reach out to me, Bonnie? I can't even tell you. It's late at night. Their vet has closed. Oh, my gosh, this is happening to my dog. Oh, and I said, this is where you need to go, because they don't have that information. And I think that's something that, again, another kind of, another piece of information you should have at hand, not just your own vet, but an emergency situation, where you can go to a facility. It's scary, though. And I know some people go, well, it's after hours, I know it's going to cost money. I'm like, you know what? Trust me, you want them alive, so just go. Figure it out. You'll figure it out.
Right.
You will figure it out. You always do.
Exactly.
And, the alternative is, you will wish that you'd spent the money, if you didn't do it in the first place. But, yeah, definitely having your vet, your emergency service, your CPR skills up to scratch. And I would say probably a friend that you could call, that would come and assist you, because sometimes you're at home by yourself, aren't you? And it can be quite a lot to deal with by yourself on the phone, trying to do CPR, trying to get to a vet. So definitely have those as your key people.
Yeah, I would not have been able to pick up Blue. He was 50 pounds, and I would have had a hard time trying to get him in my car.
What a great vet you had, though, that came over. That was awesome. That's a great vet. I mean, that is, wow. And for him to say, this is not one of the things I could have warned you about. And that's a veterinarian. That's a veterinarian. Is, wow. But I know your organization is just going to go from strength to strength, I mean, without a doubt. We'll be singing it from the rooftops. Trust me on this one. And you were saying, on average, you see about 3 to 4 dogs a week. And we want to make that 0, don't we? We just want to.
We do.
We just need to eliminate that, so everybody's so fully aware of it. I think this will be a big year for you, because isn't it funny with an organization after so like a certain period of time, all of a sudden it's like, oh, people start to know about this. It's a little bit like nutrition last year. A year ago, I just said to Jim, "Here's my prediction right now: people are going to really start to understand dog food." And it just all of a sudden comes on their radar, and there's an awareness that happens. And I think that's what's going to happen for you this year. I think it's going to really, really blow up, and in a good way. I do have a question for you, though, and I was so happy to see this, that you have a campaign to get chip bags labeled with this warning on them, and it's Frito-Lays. Is that correct?
Right. Right.
How's that going?
Well, I started, this petition is probably four years old.
Yeah.
And I keep it ongoing because the problem is ongoing.
Yes. I think that's a great thing. You can't stop it, can you? You've got to keep it going.
Right. Because, like I said, every time, a dog dies and I hear about it, so then more people sign the petition. So the Frito-Lay, they're obviously the, manufacturer of the Cheetos bag. And so I wanted to request that they put, warning labels on their chip bags, because, they're the biggest distributor of them. So we did the petition, and it's I think I must have, I don't know, 10,000 or more signatures. I would like to get more.
Yeah. We're going to share it, and we'll ask people to sign that, because they'll see that as value, absolute value. And at the end of the day, it's just some text, isn't it? I mean, I'm sure
right.
I'm sure it doesn't cost much more to put some text on there.
Yeah, I've spoken to them a few times, and they're aware of the issue, but they say it's a packaging problem, and I don't, I'm not sure it's going to happen. I have a person over there I talk to, but for now, nothing's changed.
But
so
I think just having the campaign itself is here's the thing. If I was Frito-Lays, if I found out that some packaging of my product contributed to the deaths of pets, I'd be making a change on that.
Right.
So I think just having the campaign, like you say, is a value in itself. And, the longer it's out there, probably a little bit more pressure goes on Frito-Lay to eventually, come on, just put some text on there. It's who cares about, it's an issue with packaging. It's like, well, this is an issue with dogs' lives and cats' lives, and
right.
I mean, it's just it's not much of an answer, is it really?
No, and I personally believe that a manufacturer of a product or packaging, that they know that their product or packaging is hazardous to pets or people.
They do.
Then they have a corporate responsibility to warn their consumers.
Yes, that's right. Because I mean, look how many times you buy something in that clear plastic, and it'll say will cause suffocation, to children. I mean, you see it. So
right.
Yeah, it's time for them to get on board, isn't it? I mean, here's the thing.
Well, and what I want with them, what I would love for Frito-Lay to do is just collaborate with me. Let's work together to spread awareness.
Yes, not hey, we hate your packaging. You're right. Let's team up together. This can be a positive thing where this massive company, you've brought this awareness and this problem to them, and this massive company can make a difference in saving lives. I mean, I just think it would be a perfect marriage.
Yeah, partner with us. Let's collaborate and help your consumers who own pets but buy your products.
Yes.
And so that's kind of what my goal is.
Yeah.
Just to work together.
I know you'll get there. I know it. It's only a
it's a long process.
Yeah.
And,
I mean,
as you know.
I mean, I think with anything in animal kind of welfare, I was saying today, I got a friend over in India right now, and there's a picture of her with an elephant, and she's at a real sanctuary, which is, there aren't many real ones out there. And we were talking about, where was I going with this, with the elephant thing? Hang on. I've lost my trail of thought now. Oh my God. Oh, that's what it was.
Happens to me all the time.
So I was saying to her, she goes, I just don't think enough people are aware of it. I said, well, it is a bit of a slow grind, but eventually we'll get there. I said, it's never fast enough for any of us that love animals. It will never, this kind of progress doesn't happen fast enough. But as long as something's happening, I think that's a good thing too.
Well, I have a question about that. And my question is, you're in direct contact with a manufacturer right now, but have you looked into lobbying efforts and legislative efforts and things like
that's a good question,
what the consumer protection environment did for cigarette packaging and alcohol packaging and marketing and those kinds of things?
Good question, Jim.
Right. Well, of course, I have lots of goals.
Yeah.
And I've been one person.
Yeah.
And I just actually Prevent Pet Suffocation just became a nonprofit.
Oh, yay.
2017.
That's great.
And I'm going to start my fundraising efforts in 2018.
Yep.
So what I'm hoping to do is then be able to have the funds and the money to do extra things.
Yeah.
Like Jim just said, okay, reach out. There's so many places, and I have a lot of people that want to help and want to volunteer. We also need some, funds to do that. So
yes,
that's
you
kind
do.
of where I'm headed in 2018.
Oh, yeah. I think that'll make such an impact. I mean, once you can start taking in those donations, it'll make such a difference. And, one thing I want to offer to you as well, Bonnie, is, as you know, I do a lot of events, a lot of pet events, and host them. And anytime, if you've got any kind of flyers or anything you want to send out to me, I'll put it in the swipe bags. We'll put it on our table. We'll make sure people get those in their hands. So I want to make sure I extend that to you as well, because, do you have I was looking at some of your PSA stuff as well. Do you have something that's going to be, are they like flyer size, or are they smaller than flyer size?
No, so I do. So if you go on my website, prevent-pet-suffocation.com, and you go to the infographics link, there are several on there that you can click on, enlarge, and print off.
And that they varying sizes as well?
Yes.
Oh, great.
Yes, they are. And, people are always contacting me because they're at a pet show.
Yeah.
Or they're going to work at the SPCA, or they want to, they're in a rescue group. And so I tell them, go, print those off.
Yeah.
And definitely put them in the gift bags.
Yeah.
And help get the word out.
I mean, we deal with just pet people all week, every week, in day in, day out. I mean, we're communicating with so many people, and right after here, I'm saying picking up donations from a friend's pet store. But I can guarantee you something, when I tell her about this, she has no idea about this. But she's the kind of person that would print those off and put them in her store. And so I'll talk to her about that when I go in. But yeah, we touch a lot of people. And we'll just make sure that we get this out at every opportunity. But I definitely, I know from, the minute you become an official charity, it makes life a little bit easier with those donations. And like I say, it can take you on to the next step and to the next step. And I see that being, a really good thing for all the other things that you've got planned. I know that you do some public speaking, you do TV, you've written some articles. So you're out there. You are everywhere you can be.
I know. I'm very busy with it, and I could be even busier. I mean, there are not enough hours in the day to actually do all that I want to do. And so, I rely on all my, followers to kind of help get out there and do that. And they do a great job by, sharing the post and writing about it and putting it on their Facebook and all kinds of things. So,
I mean, usually,
it's been a community effort.
Usually what I do, aside from on my business pages, but on my actual personal page, if I actually say on my page to people, if there's one thing that you should share with your friends, it's this. And I've done that with quite a few different things that I feel very, very passionately about, and they do. And so that's what I'll be doing tonight. I'll say if there's one thing you should be doing, this is it. Because the thought of losing a pet, I just couldn't even. And, I can't imagine how that impacted you, and probably for such a long time. How do you feel now that you started that organization? How does that impacted you personally, having such a great loss, but then putting this organization together?
Well, it's been a labor of love, and it's remained a really strong passion for me. I have not lost any interest in it. In fact, it's grown.
Oh.
And I've gotten a lot of, personal pleasure from just watching this take hold. And I get so much positive feedback from everybody that says, wow, thank you. I had no idea. And I wouldn't have known, and you saved my dog. But the other piece of it is the Facebook page has really turned into also kind of a support group for everybody that's grieving over their pet.
Yeah.
And so when I share their story, they get a lot of, hundreds of comments from people that understand, or it's happened to them too. And so they say it just helps them so much, and I just really feel good about that I was a part of their healing.
So here's the great thing. I think the love that you had for Blue, and Blue is helping through you to actually save other animals. And I got a little dog fight going on in my studio right now. I don't know if you can hear that. what's going on with my dogs. They usually are super quiet. Not that I care anyway, because it is a pet show. But yeah, they've just decided to have like a WWF situation going on right now. They're crazy. I think that's like, as you say, you've built this community now that's a support for many, many people, and that definitely has to feel good. It's as simple as that, so you're doing a lot for people. You're doing a lot for people and a lot for pets as well. How do you personally cope when these sad stories come across? Because that's a lot to deal with, isn't it?
Yeah.
Every day when you see these stories.
Right. They're horrible stories, and they always affect me, but I always feel sad.
Yeah.
Every time I read one, it's like devastating to hear about another loss. So I just put my energy into, posting it and letting it take a life of its own.
Yeah. Because you have to have some coping skills, don't you? You can't just be a wreck every day. That's a lot to place on your shoulders.
I know, because these faces, they send the picture of this beautiful little dog.
I know. I see them, and I go,
it's sad.
I know that's a sad story that just popped up on your page. I just think.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was just also going to mention, I don't want to leave out, cats.
Yes.
This primarily does happen to just dogs, but we have lost a few cats along the way. Not so much in chip bags or snack bags, but more like a plastic bag or a container, or, they'll get into a small space. A yogurt. We have one in a yogurt can, so wherever they can put their head into. So I did want to bring up that cats are also susceptible to the suffocation, and just to be aware of that as well, because they can obviously jump up into lots of high spaces.
Gosh, yes, they can access so much more than a dog can. That's a very, very good point to bring up, that it's not solely, dogs you need to be looking out for, but definitely the cats, that they can actually make their way up onto everything. Wow.
And the other part, Sam, is, so we have the cats, we have the dogs, but people will ask me, they'll say to me, why do I have to cut up my chip bags? I don't even own a dog. And I say, it's because of the wildlife. You don't cut your chip bag up. It ends up in a landfill. It ends up in a yard.
Oh, gosh.
It ends up in a park. And a raccoon gets it, a squirrel, a bird, a stray dog, a stray cat.
Same effect, yeah.
Yeah, and they don't typically have anyone around to save them. Well, there are a few videos, I've seen online. One of them was a kangaroo.
Oh, gosh.
And that was a hard animal to get that
Oh,
bag
my
off.
God, I can't imagine trying to hold down a kangaroo to get that off its head. Oh, gosh.
And so that's why I tell people, even if you don't own a pet, you need to practice,
responsibility.
Practice this.
You just do.
Yeah.
You just need to be responsible on all levels.
Again, there we go to the 6-pack rings, the plastic 6-pack rings.
Oh, yes.
Getting into the oceans.
Well, there's that company in, they're in California, I want to say out of San Diego, and they're actually making the rings out of, was it seaweed, Jim?
Yeah, they're edible.
So it's not just, it just won't, aside from, being biodegradable, it actually is edible for wildlife, and it won't kill them, which I thought,
really?
Are you kidding me? That's amazing. And they said, it's going to be a little bit more expensive to produce, but we do think people will support this anyway, because it's just it's a safety thing, and it won't harm them if they ingest it. I thought it was a brilliant idea. But meanwhile, like you say, people need to be responsible. You just need to be responsible, because your trash can end up killing an animal without you even realizing it. If you're camping, you know, those kind of things.
Well, and one of the guys who lost his dog maybe 2 or 3 months ago, he doesn't even eat chip bags. He has no snack bags in his house, and he thinks it was a construction crew that had been working in his yard left their food out.
Gosh.
So, I mean, you think you've covered all the bases,
yeah,
and then there's one more.
I think I'd be in jail if that happened. I think, oh my gosh, if I felt that it's someone else's hands, I think I would be in jail. I don't think I'd be able to cope with that. Jim would have to come and try and bail me out. That would be horrific.
Well,
I don't have
Jim
enough
mentioned
money.
Well, the 6-pack rings, everybody's in the habit of cutting those up, right? Well, that's what we want him to do with the chip bags,
just
to be that much of a habit.
Yeah, just extend it to everything that you think could possibly cause a problem. I have a little list here. Do you know what I think you need to do if you haven't already done them? I think you need to do some Facebook Live. I know.
We need to do what?
Some Facebook Lives where you actually tell.
Right.
Yeah. We should do one together. We should do one together on Facebook because now you can do the split screen. It's so easy. But I think this is something so worthy of being out there on Facebook Live, and the fact that Facebook doesn't strangle the reach on the Facebook Lives as they do with our regular posts. So I just think it would even reach even more people, And when people understand your personal story and why this all started, and they can prevent that, I think you'd have a huge amount of interest. Huge. But I just think it's such a worthy organization that you've put together, and you are saving lives. It's just wonderful. It really, really is. I have a quick question for you. You're going to be at Blog Pause this year. Are you familiar with Blog Pause? You are, aren't you?
I am, and I'm not sure yet. But it's definitely on
the old list.
My New Year's list.
There you go. Maybe it's on her Alexa list, Jim, that Jim won't let me have an Alexa.
Foot's down.
he like it like that makes any difference to me, Jim. Are you going to be at Super Zoo again?
Well, that's in the summer, and I'm going to try. I'm typically not home in most of the summer,
right.
But last year, as you know, that's how I met you. I came to Vegas.
I know, wasn't that a great my gosh, this is so great. I know you know me. We finally met. That was a great.
We finally met. Thanks to Lindsay Walco.
Yes,
I mean, she's amazing.
Another great organization. Absolutely.
Yes, Center for Pet Safety.
Yeah,
and I wouldn't be this far without her, and so I would love to try to get into that again this summer.
Yeah, and it's good. It's good to help other people along. If you've got a big following, and it's something you believe in, it's important to help people along with their cause. What I'm going to do is I'm going to reach out to all the pet bloggers that I know and say, listen, guys, we really need to get this information out here. Anyone want to pick up the story, your story, and put this out there because it's going to save lives. And that's what I'm going to ask tonight in some of my groups, because I really think more and more people, if you can get them to write about it, these pet bloggers, they've got the audience. They're the gateway of information for pet parents. And I do think we'll probably have a couple of people who will pick up on the story, because they need to be writing about. I think every pet blogger needs to write about this. It saves lives, and
I would love it. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm gonna post that tonight. I'm actually writing my list here on the side on my studio desk right here because I've got a whole little thing I want to do. I want to tell everyone that's listening to the show, the website is prevent-pet-suffocation.com, and you can find them on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I'll put all the links up on our page, so you don't have to scramble and get a pen. I'll make sure they go up there, and we'll feed them through and drip feed them through our social media accounts there, and we'll get this word out there. But definitely follow along and make sure you share with your friends. It's a very important thing, and I can guarantee you most of them don't know about this. Well, Bonnie, it has been a great conversation. And I think it's one of those shows that it'll be evergreen content. It'll always be out there because it's something that people need to learn about on an ongoing basis. And I hope you do come to Blog Pause. It's March, isn't it? I can't even remember. We've bought tickets and I don't even remember.
Better check your calendar.
It's one of those, don't look too far ahead because you'll get overwhelmed with everything you've got planned for 2018. That's usually how I do it, but we'll definitely be there if we get flights and hotel books. That might help us as well. I just wish they'd come back to Vegas. They did it one year in Vegas, just 10 minutes from my house. It was fantastic.
Oh, I know. How convenient.
It was brilliant. And as you know, Vegas, we know how to do conventions. So I think they need to come back and do that with us. But I'm so glad you came on the show today. I really am. It's a great service that you're offering people. Is here's how to prevent it. And should you find yourself in that terrible situation, here's some great tips for you. It's been brilliant. It's been really, really good start to the year, I would say.
Well, I literally cannot thank you enough. I mean, I really appreciate it. It's an amazing way to start off the new year.
Yeah, I think so too. I always believe that as long as we have something in every show that we do, that the listeners walk away having learned something new, then we've done a great show. And today is one of those shows. And it'll stay up as evergreen content. We'll just keep it up there. We'll keep it out there for the universe.
Yes.
And I think that's, I know I said like 30 minutes, but hey.
It flew by.
There's a lot to talk about, isn't there, when it comes to keeping our pets safe. So thanks so much, Bonnie. And please keep us updated with any new news that you have.
Oh, absolutely.
Thanks so much.
Okay. Happy New Year.
Oh, and Happy New Year to you too. Well, everyone, like I said, it was a show that you probably have not heard of, Pet Suffocation, before, but now you know about it. I really would like you to share this show. Share the show with as many people as you possibly know. We want to prevent these stories, these sad stories that come across on the page. As I say, every time I see a post, I just know, oh gosh, no, not another sweet pet that's gone. From something that's completely preventable. So, and because now they're an official charity, you can certainly make a donation so that Bonnie can do even more work and fulfill the things that she has planned for the year as well. Well, everyone, that's the end of the show. I want to thank Bonnie for being my guest today. It was an absolute pleasure having her on the show. So we met 6 months ago, and finally she's on the show. It's a good thing. Thank you, Jim, for pushing the buttons.
Many buttons and knobs today.
Many buttons and knobs. And take a moment, go over and like the Prevent Pet Suffocation on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The website is chock full of information, and those PSAs are on there, and those infographics are on there as well. You can definitely share them. We'll be doing exactly the same thing, but we'd just like to get a bit more of an army behind it. And, of course, make sure you come and like our page if you haven't done so already. And we do like it when you post pictures of your pets and tell us their names and how much you love them. Don't be shy, just post on the page. Well, remember, you can help an animal in need. Either rescue, adopt, donate, volunteer, or share their information. Cut up your chip bags and make sure that you are really vigilant when it comes to those kind of food packages. And rescue your next family member. Replace the word shop with adopt, and always be kind to all animals. Today you've been listening to Vegas Rock Dog Radio, where it's all about pets, people, and pop culture. I'm your host, Sam, the queen of rock and roll dogs. And always kiss your pets. Good morning and good night. And I'll see you next time.
You've been listening to Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Pets, people, pop culture.
Visit Vegas Rock Dog Radio for more information. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And subscribe on iTunes and iHeart Radio. And remember, give your fur babies a big kiss from me, Sam, the queen of rock and roll dogs. You must not rely on the information in this broadcast from our host as an alternative to medical advice from your veterinarian. If you have any specific questions about a medical matter regarding your pets, you should consult your veterinarian or specialist.